What is up, all you lonely watchers out there? Today I wanted to do something a little different and analyze Yokai Watch's box art, and specifically how it changes between regions. Because honestly, there are so many choices here that baffle me. So without further ado, let's get into Yokai Watch 1's Japanese box art. This one is one of the weaker ones that we've ever gotten. Just having little images of the yokai in a pattern, and then just Jibanyan on the front with the title. Honestly, this is one of the few instances where the Japanese box art is the worst out of the three. But when the game came to America, they decided to add much more yokai as well as Nate himself to the box art. This, honestly, I thought would have been perfect. Until you look at Europe's more action-packed blue cover, and honestly, I think it's one of the cases where the PAL box art is the best, which is almost never the case when it comes to video games. So you know what? Every localization was an improvement across the board. And then we get to 2. Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls specifically. These have a nice metal design on them, a nice contrast. They look like they obviously go together. And honestly, really nice logos and everything. Everything is arranged in a way that looks neat, but it's still referencing, you know, the original Yokai Watch box art while still being its own thing and showing the parity between the two versions. This is box art at its finest. Of course, we have the 2 different renders for Jibanyan here for the different versions, which makes sense. And when they localized the games for America, they pretty much did it perfectly, with the Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls logos looking really bony and fleshy. Although one weird thing that does still kind of make sense is that they added Hovernyan to both of the covers, which is weird, I'll admit. But hey, Hovernyan is a big player in the story, and it's nice to see him get some of the limelight in the box art. In fact, I would have even been okay with him replacing Jibanyan in this instance, but you need that marketability, so I get why they didn't remove him. Now, Europe, on the other hand, they love Nate. So you want to know what they did? This is something that will frustrate me till the day I die. Why did they decide to take this design, which you could already argue is a little cluttered, but honestly, it works out for the design that they're going with. Adding Hovernyan, you're getting there. It's not the best change, but it makes sense. But to put Nate on the cover, Nate is marketable to some degree, sure, but Jibanyan already has that covered in the American box arts. Why would you add Nate as well? It just makes it all cluttered. It gives it more synergy between the original Yokai Watch box art, but still, it just doesn't look good. Of course, all that would be remedied with Psychic Spectres, however. This is what the box art looked like in Japan. It was a really nice design that's reminiscent of the Yokai Watch Model 0, while still showing parity between Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls, or in this case, Hanke and Ganso. When they brought it to America, they were going to give it this, like, green design, which honestly doesn't fit the best with the Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls ones, at least for the color alone. But the design in general was still nice. I just wish they had kept that blue. And I really wish they had kept that blue, because this is the box art we got for Shinichi, which became Psychic Spectres over here. And oh god. Look, this is good key art. I would want this as a PC background, or like a phone background, or even, you know, framed up on my wall. I would absolutely do that. And it makes sense because the Wicked Yokai were one of the main appeals. You were able to befriend them in Psychic Spectres. But to just totally break the synergy, I mean, I guess it makes sense. Not a lot of people were buying this. You might as well go all artsy-fartsy with the artwork. But, like, this doesn't look like it's related to Bony Spirits or Fleshy Souls. And you know what? Just shove Darkinyan in there. Even though, I mean, I guess he has a story quest in this version, but you could have befriended him in Bony Spirits and Fleshy Souls. Why was he not there for that? And then we go to Europe again. They added Nate again and cluttered up the artwork so much, they had to move the logo to a different corner. Why you would do this is beyond me. This is probably the worst box art mishmash I've ever seen come out of Europe. And I am sorry to all the Europeans out there, but objectively, why Nate? I need to know. If one of you has the answer, please tell me. Then from then on, it gets a little more tame. See, Busters, or as it came to be known over here, Blasters, stayed pretty much the same. In fact, it was even better because in Japan, both games came with a medal. Since that medal did not come with the Western releases of the game, they removed that tag at the bottom that says that. And honestly, it just opens up and fleshes out the artwork even more. Sure, when you have like the German rating system, which is all huge, it kind of distorts where the logo is put and it doesn't look as great. But in Europe and America, it's pretty much the same. It looks nice. And honestly, the 3D models aren't my favorite. I'd rather have 2D drawings, but they don't look bad. Now, with Yokai Watch 3, they originally came out in 2 versions, Sushi and Tempura, which had these really nice, like, comic book style backgrounds that emphasize the American theme of the game, along with the mascot for each version, the KK Brothers and Tom and Jan. And then they made the definitive 3rd version, which is the one that ended up coming to the West. This 3rd version was called Sukiyaki, and it's fine. I mean, Enma looks really cool here, along with some version exclusives that get some time to shine. But, like, this is just a bunch of characters. This doesn't nearly have the same simplistic and working design that the comic book covers had. Honestly, I think that looked really good. And if they made, like, a mishmash of that, that would have been way better. But they seem to have just shoved a bunch of characters on it. And it looks okay, but you know, I really don't see how it could go downhill from here, unless they add Nate to the cover somehow in Europe. But surprisingly, no, the American release went for a whole different design that had kind of a panel setup here. Now, I'd rather the yokai get more time to shine here than the humans, but honestly, they fit well here. I like the panel comic book aesthetic. It's not as cool as Sushi and Tempura, but honestly, I think this looks really well, and something like this would have worked amazingly as the Sukiyaki box art. And Europe thankfully kept this change, so there's not much to complain about there. Oh, but that is not all. See, Yokai Watch 4 never came out in America, it came out in Japan. But recently, over the last summer, it was localized for mainland China. Or at least 4++ was. So we're not even going to look at 4's box art. Let's take a look at a 4++ in Japan. It's very nice. It's aesthetically pleasing. It's a weird combination of like marketable yokai. It looks okay, but it doesn't show what the game is about. It doesn't show any of the plot details. But we got new key art to go along with the Chinese version, and that is what was used for the cover. And this is honestly one of the best box arts Yokai Watch has had. You can see all the main characters going through the door to the future. And honestly, it tells way more about what the game is about than the Japanese cover ever did. So anyway, that's it, because all the other games have been stuck in Japan. So, with that out of the way, it's time for the Box Art Awards. Best box art for Yokai Watch 1 goes to Europe. Congratulations, this will be your only award this evening. The best box art for Yokai Watch 2 Bony Spirits and Yokai Watch 2 Fleshy Souls goes to the USA. Congratulations. The best box art for Yokai Watch 2 Psychic Specters goes to Japan. The best box art for Yokai Watch Blasters goes to Joint, Europe and USA. The best box art for Yokai Watch 3 goes to Joint, Europe and USA. And the best box art for Yokai Watch 4 goes to our lone award winner tonight, China. And I can guarantee that these tallies are no result of my American bias. Anyway, what do you guys think of these box arts? Which one is truly on top? If you say Psychic Specters Europe, nice opinion. And that's all I'm allowed to say. Anyway, I will see you all in the next one. Bye bye, my lonely watchers.